Well, we are absolutely well privileged tonight. We've been building it up on the show for a good few weeks to have a top guest on tonight, and we're glad he's agreed to come on. He's our old mate, an absolute legend in this country. Will you please say a massive hello to Mr. Chaz Hodges? Hello, Chaz. How are you?
Evening, Chaz.
Hello, Gary. Yeah, I'm absolutely fine.
Listen.
Everything's going good.
Good. Listen.
I've had all my treatment's finished.
Brilliant.
I ain't got to see the doctor till next year, so all's good.
Well, that was what I was going to get onto. The first thing I was going to say is that obviously it's been well documented this year, all over the papers that you wasn't very well, and we know you've gone through it all. And then last week, me and Paul, we come to see you and Dave down at the Ultra Theatre, and if I can say the highlight of the year for me, and I said it last week, was the lights went down. You walked on the stage, they come up on you, and you just said, I ain't got to see the doctor till December, and all my hair's coming back. And do you know what, Chaz? I think the place went crazy for that, you know? It was like, it was all cheering.
Yeah, it was a real great warm feeling, and I wanted to start off with that, because obviously people have been reading, you know, the publicity and that of me cancer. So they wanted to know how I was getting on. So I'll start off with that, get that sorted. Everybody's happy, and away we went.
Yeah, great night as well.
The thing is, Chaz, that must have been, going to touch on it, it must have been the longest time in your career where you've had to go without singing. Because you had to have a little break from it. And, I mean, you've obviously sung all your life and playing.
Well,
you had to have a little break, didn't you?
Yes, purely for the treatment. The treatment was sort of planned, but there was a few unplanned dates coming in. Said, "Oh, can you get down there, you know, quick or whatever?" And so, yeah, we had to reschedule all the dates, which worked out all right in the end. Well, but yeah, I had actually had 6 months off, and I was talking to one of my mates I've known for years, and he said, "When's the last time you had 6 months off?" And I had to think. And it was when I was at school before I joined the
That's amazing, isn't it? That's amazing.
Before I joined the skiffle group, because once I joined the skiffle group, I was playing at least once a week. There might have been, like, you know, holiday times, 2 or 3 weeks over the years. But 6 months is the longest I've ever had off. But it's come back. Even my voice is better.
Well, that's what I was going to say to you, because I did say to you after the show the other night, obviously your vocal's always been amazing, very distinctive vocal anyway. Listen, it's always been a great vocal, and there's never been a trouble with it anyway. But it was just like watching you the other night, it just seemed like, hang on a second, he's got another, it's like you've kicked in another gear. It's like still great, but it just seems to be like, it feels like you can sing for more hours and just carry on. It just seems, it's crisp and clear, and it was always crisp and clear, but you just sound amazing, Chaz.
Well, yeah, I mean, I didn't plan on that, but I've been doing a bit of recording in my studio while I've been off, just to sort of a few ideas and that. And I've amazed myself with some of the high notes I can get.
Brilliant. I was just going to say, Chaz, when you were saying that you didn't gig for 6 months, I was going to just chime in and say, but I bet you were still playing most days as well. I bet you didn't stop with your music at all, did you?
No. I mean, that's why I was able to. I mean, people say, I mean, anybody out there that's got to go through chemo and radiotherapy, it ain't. There's a lot of stories going about you feel sick and this, that, and the other. Well, I'm slightly weary now and again, but in general, I just sailed through it, and I was able to play me piano every day.
Brilliant.
I was putting ideas down for songs. I was able to get round my allotments every day. So as far as I was
never
concerned,
stopped. Yeah.
You know, I could carry on with me daily things. Obviously, I was told not to overdo it because I had to have an operation at one stage. To find out how far if the cancer had gone, which it hadn't travelled at all. It was confined to my esophagus, so I'd called it really quick.
Well, that was a good thing, wasn't it? You got it early. You did get it very early, didn't you? You was very good to
that's
go.
Another thing. Anybody listening out there, I mean, don't hang about. If you get something that happens to you, you do know when it's something slightly different. You think, that ain't happened to me before. It ain't like the normal aches and pains or a bit of cold sniffles or whatever. I mean, to me, it is I couldn't swallow a glass of water properly, and I thought that ain't, that's unusual.
That's
so
very true,
I didn't waste. I didn't waste any time. Got down there, and doctors today, and what they know today. I mean, blimey, our mums and dads' day, and they've gone on in leaps and bounds.
We've come a long way now.
Yeah, we have, and just anybody listening to this, get down there early. Don't be frightened of it. Get down there, get it sorted. As I say, I feel great now. I'm raring to go.
The only man I know, I was speaking to your lovely wife Joan last week, and she said, the only man I know who goes to chemo with a guitar in his hand. Didn't the nurse turn around and say to you, why you got your guitar? Got your guitar here with you.
Brilliant. I'll tell you what's been really great, Chaz. Inspirational. You've been to other people that may have the same problems at the time, and I think one of the things that you've been right from the very start, how positive you've been with everything, and I think that that really does give people a lot of hope and inspiration. So I think it's been brilliant.
Well, as I say, if anybody gets any, you don't know how you're going to feel. When he first told me, this was last January or something, when they checked it all, and he went, well, he said, I'm afraid it is cancer. And my first question, I said, well, okay, how long have I got? He went, hang on a minute, hang on a minute. And only for the first 10 minutes, but then after he said, well, we can do this. And I thought, well, I know I've called it early.
Yeah.
And I'm now in the hands of the best doctors in the world. So I just, I felt fine. I didn't feel bad in my head or anything. I thought, that's it. And I impress on everybody to do what the doctors tell you.
What?
I mean, there's a lot of people that, that if he says, you can't do this or don't do that. I mean, he told me to take it easy. Like if I was around the allotments, don't go heavy digging. So I didn't.
Great
you've got to do what you're told.
Of course, you have to make yourself recover. The great thing, I think, what we was noticing from the outside was many years ago when people would get, especially like in the business you're in, obviously being famous, people would keep it quiet. There would be the papers reporting on little bits and a little statement now and again. But I think because you're quite modern with a Twitter thing.
Yeah.
I found that the Twitter, I mean, you were there now and again putting a little thing how you were feeling or just thanking people, and the messages from people around the world, Chaz, coming to you was trending on Twitter.
Right.
And it was a great tool for you. Did that help you in any kind of way that you could maybe express how you were feeling, or just the tweets coming in from people wishing you well? That must have helped you in some kind of way.
Well, it was good to, the Twitter is fantastic that you can put. You don't know, rumours going around, or is he really ill? Is he pretending he's better than he is and all that? So I thought, roughly every couple of weeks, I stuck out a report, how I'm doing, what the doctors say, how my hair's growing back a bit, and so people could actually see the improvement from my actual personal messages. And it was important. It was important in that way for me to, there's the truth. If you want to know how Chaz is, have a look on Twitter. He'll tell you.
Brilliant.
And to get, like we said earlier, I think most people, you might know a friend of the family or someone that has had the same problem, and it's inspirational to them. And because you're so positive, I think that rubs off on other people as well, don't you? Like
definitely.
Well, that's what I want it to do. I mean, I want people to, because we all know, I mean, especially in our mum and dad's day, and most definitely in our nan and granddad's days, it was like kiss of death. Once you had cancer, I mean, some people wouldn't even mention it. It wasn't even mentioned when I was a kid. But they've gone in leaps and bounds. The key is get it early, and they can nip it in the bud. They can do it. They can cure it. But don't hang about and think, I'll leave it. Because,
great advice, that is. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is, because it ain't the frightening thing, as I say. And people are still telling me how bad chemo is. I said, well, tell me, I've just been through it, mate.
Yeah,
it
exactly.
ain't bad at all. It's as long as you take your time off.
Do as you're told, yeah.
Yeah, do as you're told, and it's quite a relaxing thing, really.
Well, I'm sure there's going to be a song coming out. I reckon there's going to be a new song coming out somewhere, Chaz, with this experience. Well, I'm sure there'll be a song about it all.
I've added a bit to an old song that me and Dave wrote called "Sling Your Hook."
Sling Your Hook, that's it.
Yeah.
Pointing it towards cancer. Sling your hook, get on your way.
Lovely.
Samu, so I wanted to stay, and I've added a verse to it. So yeah,
that's brilliant.
In fact, you should start doing that on stage. That's a good idea.
Great, put it in. I love that song anyway.
Yeah.
So gig-wise, Chaz, you're busier than ever. All the theatre dates are back on, aren't they? And you're touring around the country throughout the year and everything. So that's all full back on now. Yeah.
Yeah, we've rescheduled them, and with the help of my son Nick, who plays drums for us, and he helps out a lot in the management side of it.
Great.
We sat down between us about 2 or 3 months ago, and he said, "Now, let's schedule the gigs properly, so you don't come back with a bang and overdo it straight away." So they've been nicely paced, two to 3 gigs a week.
Brilliant.
Very nicely paced, and I don't feel tired, and I feel energetic, and the gigs are sold out, as you say, and it's great for people to say, "Look, he's back. He's looking great, and he's playing better than ever," and that is a fact. And that's the message I want to get across.
I'll tell you what's great about it as well is that I know I buy all the albums still because it's obviously I'm a fanatic of your music. And recently I was away and I've got every record, but I downloaded from iTunes was the I think it was last year. Was it the Chaz and Dave's Beano? It might have been last year. They brought out a new download.
Oh, what the live at the Hammersmith?
That's the one, yeah. And obviously, when you hear all the songs, we've played a few on the show tonight. From that, we just played that old piano. I love the way now that even though they're all great songs, there just seems to be that old piano. You've taken that to another level a little bit from the original. It's a bit more bluesy now, and it just seems to real kick along live a bit different than the album track, and the music as well. It just seems like even that album just seems like everything, the atmosphere and the sound sounds amazing. The live sound is amazing.
Yeah, you're dead right, Gary. I mean, being on the road, always particular, that everything you got to be improving all the time, the feeling, and if a feeling's better. And with Nick on the drums, I mean, he contributes a lot of his younger feel to it, really. But yeah, you're dead right. That old piano, funnily enough, somebody put on Twitter, there's a little clip of it, and I didn't realise how good it was, to be honest.
It's really
Somebody
good.
put a little clip from Southend on it, and just the casual way we're doing it now is so right for it. And I thought,
brilliant, yeah.
It's like it just settles back into it.
I think when you know a song, but my opinion of it is that when you hear a song like when I've just played that and heard that, it doesn't seem out of place in the modern era of music. You know, when you hear a song and you go, "Oh, that would have been in the 60s or the 70s or the 80s." That just seems to the way you've done it. The music now, it just seems to cross over. That it's a song that could have been written like yesterday. Do you know what I mean? So it's such a great thing to be doing with your music. It's the same music, but the feel for it just seems, I don't know. It's just got that. It sounds new again.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, as I say, when I see that bit on Twitter that someone had put up, I didn't realise. I knew it was progressing. The feel was even better than it has been like years ago. But I didn't realise how good it was. But yeah, you're dead right, and that's probably without realising it a lot because we've always gigged and we're getting new audiences all the time. There's youngsters are coming up. I mean, even little kids, it's great, even weekly. And it's a great feeling because I respect kids' feelings for music. I mean, I know when I was a kid, I knew what I liked and what I didn't.
It's the honesty.
Trendy.
It's the honesty, isn't it, with children? They're so honest.
You're dead right. And weekly I get, my 4-year-old son or my 3-year-old daughter won't go to bed till they've heard the Sideboard song or Rabbit or whatever. I think that's fantastic.
Well, sorry, Chaz, go on.
No, I'm just saying we're getting fans all the time. Teenagers and say, "I love your music."
It's great.
It's a great feeling.
I don't think your music ages anyway, and that the thing that shows that a bit is the with children, isn't it? If children love it and bounce along, that tells
my
you. My
little nephew's into it now.
Yeah. My lad is.
He's 2, and he's fascinated by the TV of the Sideboard song. He's 2-year-old. He just loves the melody, and it makes him smile. It just seems to do it
because it's cheerful,
and they want to dance. They can't wait to get out to it.
Yeah, just going back.
And I said, right, kids have got, they've got no feelings of whether something's trendy or if it ain't trendy, if it's in fashion or out of fashion.
Exactly, totally honest.
They like it or they don't like it, and it's just I think they got it right.
They certainly have, Chaz. Yeah, just going back to the old piano. We've been fortunate enough to work on a few of the audience with you, which are brilliant. And I was just playing a little bit back the other day, and I think you were saying that the old piano, when you wrote that with your mum in mind, and when your mum, used to play the piano when you was a little lad and come home with that little tin with the money, and I think that's. It's a brilliant little story, that, isn't it? And that's where a lot of your inspiration come from. Is that right, really?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, the piano means so much to me. I mean, as I say, just the happiness of my mum when she used to play the piano, but everybody, I mean, my dad died when I was very young, so there was obviously a lot of sadness around. But when my mum played the piano and my relations would come round, which I put in that song, on a weekend, everybody's happy. This is what you should do. Everybody's just smiling and... it would not only that. I mean, the upbringing of the happiness of the actual sound of the piano and the songs that my mum used to play. I knew when my mum was playing. She used to play Friday, Saturday, and Sunday when I was from when I was about 10 to when I was about 12, 13. In a little club in Edmonton, and I knew there was going to be good food on the table on the Monday, so it had everything going for it.
I think you said that when your mum come home with the little tin, she'd go around with a little collection after, and then it would smell of the, I don't know if it was the alcohol or the smoke. Again, you said it was just...
you're right. I
remember,
that smell. That smell has just come back to me. It had like a beer and old penny smell in it.
Yeah, that's great.
I put my nose in it.
Talking about good food. You mentioned good food there, and good food. The good food's coming quite in abundance from your allotment, Jez, because we've been over there to the allotment, and that's one of your biggest loves. I know you've done a book, we've done a pilot for a TV thing for that, but the allotment is a massive love for you, isn't it? And that's mostly really helped you get yourself better as well, eating your own as well, yeah?
Yeah, everything. There again, I mean, the music. I mean, there's nothing better. I mean, someone said to me, I know you love the allotment. Is that something that you're going to retire to, sometime? I said, no. It's something that goes alongside music perfectly. I mean, if I'm sitting, and quite often I'm sitting, I might get up, have a cup of tea, have a bit of breakfast, and think, I'll work out, a couple of calls on something I might be working on. And after about, half an hour or an hour or whatever, your head gets a little bit cloudy. I think, I'll creep round the old allotments and everything is clear. It's just worked so well with the music.
It's a very peaceful, the allotment, because growing up, my granddad and my mum used to have a little allotment in the garden, and it was obviously... things go on and it gets changed. But when we've been to the allotment and had a cup of tea on the allotment, and it's quite... we've sat there for a couple of hours with you, and it's one of the most peaceful and lovely places to be. I mean, I walk out there and I feel really healthy. I walk out there for a couple and I feel that's been a really nice couple of hours.
It's great.
It's just something magical about the allotment.
It really is. It really is. Even if you don't, it ain't in you to want to actually grow your own. But anybody who fancies doing it, there's nothing better. As one of my old mates going by. See you, Jeff.
See you, Jeff.
I think what was great.
He's going out to his tea.
Brilliant. What was great, Chaz, when that we had the the Sunday Express column in for a year, and you had so many good little life lesson quotes come out of that. The one that sticks in my mind is the little and often.
Yeah. That's very important in anything you do. I mean, for a start, the allotment, there's a lot of people that take over an allotment, and if they're taking over a new one, you bet your life is going to be covered in weeds.
Yeah.
And they'll go mad on it and get it. I've seen them do it, get it cleared up, for a week, and then you don't see them again. Well, what's happened? I know what's happened. You go too mad on it first, you're going to go home, and next day you're going to wake up with a pains worse than a hangover.
Yeah.
So, and then you think, shall I go back round there? Oh, no, I'll put it off. And it ends up being a chore rather than a pleasure.
It's so
Most
true.
important,
so true.
Get round there and just do a little bit. If you take over an allotment, get round there, have a look about, make a few mental notes, or you can even plan it out with a bit of paper. But the actual physical work, your first day, don't go more than 20 minutes. And then the next day, you can do like 25 minutes. Next day, a little bit longer.
It's so
but
true.
Don't overdo
it's so true. I learned a lot from that because we was doing a couple of bits indoors in the garden, and literally what you said. And I remember you saying that you look forward to it then, rather than everything you look forward. And it's so true. It really works. It's brilliant.
It is true. See, I mean, I've learned by my own lesson because I've done it in the past. When I was younger. I remember doing me back in Blimey in the 70s digging when I moved, and I thought I can do all that. And I just dug the whole garden, and I felt all right. But obviously, I hadn't used those muscles before. And I remember waking up next day, and I literally could not move. And I remember, you don't see them now but my wife went down to the chemist. I've never heard of them then. You don't have Vegenin. I remember they gave me Vegenin. Do you remember the old tablets, Vegenin?
Can't get them no more. They've stopped making them.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, they were the painkillers. I mean, they alleviated the pain, but I couldn't get down the allotments for at least a couple of weeks after that. So I learned my lesson there. I've buggered myself up for a couple of weeks.
Brilliant.
Could have, if I'd have done about 20 minutes, I could have. But so I learnt my lesson there, and I thought, I ain't doing that again.
Well, listen.
So there you go, little and often.
Well, listen, little and often. The main thing is, little and often, that's not what you're doing with the music. You're out there, back doing all these dates. You can find out on the Chaz and Dave website, there's still a full list of dates left for the year, Chaz, all over the country. Yeah. You can catch you out. So get on the website, have a look. If you haven't been to see Chaz and Dave in the last couple of years, make sure you go and see them.
Absolutely
because
brilliant,
Chaz, you're still gigging with Chaz and Dave. You're still gigging on your own as well. You still do a bit on your own as well. That's right, yeah.
I still do it. I do the odd one on my own if they come up and I fancy them. In general, it's as you know, it's a Chaz and Dave.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do them on my own. Chaz and his band.
You keep going.
I quite enjoy it.
No, it's brilliant.
Yeah. So,
just a quick thing I want to say. I know me and you are both. We love Vic Reeves. We find Vic Reeves a very funny man. And he's a mate of yours. And have you? I know you like. We talk about soaps and again. I think you find Coronation Street mostly the best one out of a lot of them because it's a bit more comedy. There's a bit more.
Yeah.
Vic Reeves is in there now. Did you know Vic's in that now?
Yes, I recorded it, and me and Joan watched it.
And he's good. How good is he? He's very funny.
He's great. He really fits in, doesn't he?
He does. I was thought of you the other night when we was watching that.
We recorded it. Me and Joan watched it about 2 nights ago.
Lovely.
Brilliant.
Well, Chaz,
we got some others. We've got some others to catch up on.
Yeah, do it because he's very good and he's making it for me at the moment. That.
Yeah. Oh, he is. He's great, and that little bit of he's got that twinkle in his eye.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was going to say to you. He's got that twinkle. He's got that little smirk, hasn't he? After every bit of line he does. That's great.
Yeah. It's the way you look forward to him coming on, yeah.
Listen, Chaz, thanks for giving up a bit of time to come on the show today.
Thanks, Chaz.
Please look after yourself. I know you're doing that anyway. Please keep gigging. Yep. Please keep giving us the entertainment we love you and Dave doing, especially what you're doing on
Everyone
that
loves
piano
it
and the
bits,
voice. Chaz, a pleasure. Thanks again. Love to all the family.
All right, mate.
Cheers, Chaz. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, okay. Good to talk to you.
We're going to catch you soon, very hopefully.
Yes, but of course.
Definitely. We're going to leave you with a lovely song, one of our favourite Chaz and Dave songs, the song that I think everybody knows. They all sway their hands in the air. It ain't no pleasing you. You've been a joy, Chaz. God bless you and look after yourself.
Cheers, Chaz.
All right, mate. Good to talk to you, boys.
See you later, mate. Bye.